Cool. Let's talk about teachers. I think some of the most important people in my life definitely has to be my teachers. There are people in this world who taught me something probably close to 20 years ago, and it's just the little things that I still think about to this day. But imagine being a teacher to, over the course of your career, 20,000 students. It must feel awesome when someone comes up to you and be like, I was a kid once and now I'm an adult. Some of my most important teachers definitely include my English teachers. They were definitely the ones that taught me to think critically, to write influentially. I had a lot of professors in college that I still think about. Most notably, my interpersonal dialogue teacher. She was cool. My creative writing teacher who let me just express myself in different ways that I hadn't explored. And definitely without a doubt, my philosophy teacher. That dude opened me up to such a new way of thinking that it's just, I can't even thank him enough for it. I think these people have more impact than we tend to lead on. I've been fortunate enough to run into a lot of my previous teachers, in which case I can actively go up to them and say, hey, you have made such an impact. Really some of the coolest people doing some of the coolest work. Big spike, little spike. There's also a huge importance on being a good student too. If there's any young viewers, my recommendation is to really just show up curious. I've seen it firsthand in which it can be so tough to show up to a class of 20 to 30 kids, in which case no one cares. It makes the work miserable. The kids that stick out in my mind were always the ones that showed up and were just generally nice. At the end of the day, we're all human. And so it goes a long way in which you just show up and just stay attentive. The kids that teachers love talking about are definitely the ones in which case they were like, oh my god, they actually paid attention. I guess I really just wanted to shout out the people who made an impact on my life. In a sense, we're all just the addition of all the people we run into. I've been fortunate enough that I've had good people in my life, teachers especially, who were willing to sit down and work on things with me. I remember this funny story from college in which I took a class called interpersonal dialogue. Essentially, it was about how we interact with people, professionally, platonically, romantically. And the teacher asked, has there ever been anybody who set up restrictions on you? You can't go to this place, you can't hang out with that person. And so I shared a story about how my ex-girlfriend was like, oh, I don't want you hanging out with this person because they're a girl. And I thought it was kind of funny. In which case my professor said in front of the class, your relationship is doomed. That's when I knew that teacher was chill. And straight up, she was right. She nailed it. I think that there's a lot of pressure for kids to do well nowadays. I think for a long time we've been selling people on the idea that if you go to a good college, you get a good job to make good money to live a good life. But what people don't tell you is that that isn't necessarily a pipeline for most people. And to be honest, no one really ever talks about an alternative to what a good life is meant to be. But we don't really give credence to alternative options. But whether you choose to go to school or not, I still think it's important to stay curious about a lot of things. Mentors matter. Nailed it. Be smart. Be educated. I feel like we learned a lot on that one. So let's review.